live here from Banana settlement on Kiritimari Island in Kiribati. It is the third largest village on the island. We're here today with the 104th edition of ESL Open Cup Asia Division, the New Year's edition, and I'm of course Yakuzaku of Nizaku, and with me today is El Nuevo Año Nuevo, yo que es amigo de las abejas, Light _ VIP. How we doing, Light?
Happy New Year! Welcome back, everyone. As Yaku was saying, this is the very first broadcast, our very first cast in the year of 2022.
Wait, what?
Yeah. It's gonna take a while to get used to that. I'm not gonna lie, especially after New Year's and all that stuff, I was feeling a little bit lazy. I'm like, mate, we really wanna dive in head first this soon, this early? Yes, mate, because StarCraft doesn't stop, exactly. Our players don't stop. ESL Open Cup Asia, it doesn't stop. So
neither will intros. I don't know. I was gonna segue that one.
God damn.
But speaking of players who don't stop, here we are on 2000 atmospheres LE. We're in the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way. In the top right-hand corner, we have a red Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. He is, of course, going to be representing Prep Esports. He is ByuL.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE for the very first time here in ESL Open Cup Asia, at least on our stream, we have a European player. He is hailing from the land of Germany, representing Berserker Esports. It is ForJumy.
Our very first series of 2022.
Yeah.
I have to wonder if
live up to it, guys.
Yeah, exactly. No pressure.
No pressure. No pressure at all. Speaking of no pressure, thank you so much. Oh, as they spray as the battle commences. Thank you so much, Fidnantok, in the chat. Our very first subscriber of the year. 15 months. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's more than a full year.
Yeah.
In the new year. I don't.
Oh god. Look, it's gonna take us a while to get back into it, okay? It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're still trying to get over the Duckling New Year rash.
Exactly. Speaking of course, we still have Duckling Showdown. Duckling Showdown that's gonna be next week as well. That's already been announced. You know, the announcements are out there. The Wikipedia page has been made, so gonna be very exciting for that. So we also have a couple of other casts coming ahead of us as well. Eventually our regular tournaments will start again, like Grand Platypus Open, Duckling Open, Sentimiento Latino. It's just all on break at the moment for at least, I'm pretty sure, for at least half of January.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. Season usually picks up towards the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you're an amateur tournament and you have to rely on Blizzard and their API. But, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine.
Pretty much becoming a New Year tradition at this point.
Yeah, pretty much, mate. Pretty much. But personally, I'm very excited about this series because, again, it's one of those things where every now and then in ESL Open Cup Asia, we have a couple of foreigners, right? Sometimes a couple of Europeans, sometimes a couple of NA players, like Trigger stays up late or Special or something. But yeah, I honestly haven't seen ForJumy play against any of the Koreans before.
Nor have I, if I'm being honest. I know he has in like a couple of the OSC series and whatnot, or the OSC tournaments and whatnot, but in a weekly tournament like ESL Asia or any ESL really, I haven't really had the pleasure to watch him or much less cast him. In fact, I think I only cast him for the very first time last year, once or twice.
Yeah, exactly. I know that I think we casted him when we covered the no, he wasn't in the Kishinev Open. There was a European event that we covered. And maybe
DreamHack.
we casted him in Yeah. I was thinking of something on top of that as well. But DreamHack, you know, it's a bit of an event if you've heard of it before.
Yeah, it's a little bit more obscure.
Yeah, just a little bit, but like ForJumy, you know, he is like top 32 in Europe. But how does that compare to a player like ByuL? ByuL, who isn't necessarily at the top of the Korean scene, but he's still very, very solid.
Yeah, it's actually really difficult to place ByuL right now. Because he did kind of come back at a little bit of an unfortunate timing when it came to the seasons and how the Korean events were about wrapping up. He did play in a bunch of qualifiers, but unfortunately, didn't have the best of luck in them.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he missed out on the series proper of GSL, right? He was active for Super Tournament qualifiers and TSL qualifiers, but that's, you know, so much more cutthroat, right?
Oh, yeah. Especially the Korean ones, which are single elimination.
Yeah. Exactly. Meanwhile, talking a little bit about the game, it's been pretty standard so far. We did have a Stargate opening. The Oracle honestly didn't really do too much. These adepts actually finally shade in and actually deal a decent amount of damage.
Yeah, funnily enough. And these are glaveless adepts too, so 6 drones for the cost of 2 adepts, more than worthwhile. He does need to be very careful about these Archons, though. Those are much more expensive.
Exactly. You gotta respect them, make sure you keep them alive, macro as best you can. Something that I also find really interesting is that even though he opened up with the Stargate, he only went for an Oracle, and he didn't commit to any more Stargate units, even early Void Rays for map control. Just hard switching straight into ground toss.
Yeah, part of me wonders how worried he is about a roach push or something like that coming down, but we also don't see a Robo Bay from him yet.
Yeah, exactly. Just Immortals being pumped out. Archons as well. Speaking of Archons, we do have... Oh, no! War Prism. Oh, my God!
No! He lost these Archons! Oh, but it's my anti-air.
Oh, no!
One Archon will fall! But at least one will be evacuated with the Warp Prism.
Oh, Jesus. That was so close. Bit of miss micro there from ForJumy, losing one of the Archons, but as you pointed out, at least he didn't lose the Warp Prism.
It was really close, though. Jesus, what's the alpha on that? Like 5? 4.
4 HP.
One more hit, that would have been it.
Exactly. Something that we, of course, have to bear in mind is that this is the Korean server. This is the Asian server. Oh, God, there's a spore there. He has to be careful. So ForJumy is playing with lag. He's playing with ping. So that's why, you know, that's probably why he lost one of his units. But, again, very impressive that he hasn't lost too much health. So it's something that he also has to fight against. Meanwhile, ByuL, he's getting ready for his Red Ravager Queen push.
Getting ready, and, what is the Sage after ready? Go? Well, he's going, and he is going straight for the kill.
Yeah, let's go. Exactly. Again, this is designed to kill a Stargate opener, like into Void Rays. ByuL did scout that. Of course, that wasn't the case. Oh, God, the Immortal gets focused down.
And another one coming shortly as well. Okay, not quite. Battery overcharge is able to save that, but yeah, funnily enough, these force fields actually working against ForJumy for the time being. Solot's going to do whatever they can to buffer.
Yeah,
and they're doing a decent job of keeping some of the army back, all things considered, but at the end of the day, you just can't fight against that much Zerg without AoE.
Exactly. Like, Charge finished up in the middle of the fight, not at the start of the fight, and losing one Immortal early on was massive. And just like that, we can see that the Zerg army overwhelms the Protoss, and GG gets called. ByuL takes the first game.
Like so. Didn't even need Mutus for that one.
I did notice the Spire.
Yeah. But you know, standard ByuL things, but yeah, I have to wonder how disappointed he was not being able to actually utilize that Spire.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he was getting ready for a Muta switch if that push didn't work, or if it was held at some point. But we saw that he had more than enough to deal with whatever ForJumy had on the ground. Again, just it was a bit of an anti-timing. Like, he didn't have charge ready for that fight, and he needed more warpins at home.
Definitely. Warpins or Disruptors is,
yeah.
I mean, that's the one unit on my mind. Because
True.
usually when, you know, you do see a PvZ like this, or when you see a very ground-focused PvZ like this, you typically have the Protoss player going into a Robo Bay fairly early on and getting 2 or 3 safety disruptors, but I guess ForJumy was hoping that he could distract ByuL long enough of his Archons for that not to matter.
I think that's a very important thing that you point out, is that typically, instead of going for an Archon follow-up after the Oracles, we see a Robotics Bay and maybe even a second Robo for that Disruptor production. And he delayed that, or he gave it up completely to go for Archon Harass instead. And what did he get with that Archon Harass? He got a Queen. He got a Queen. Maybe a Roach, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe I dreamt this. But I want to say that I have seen, this sort of style of PvZ work for the Protoss player just because they're able to distract the Zerg player for long enough and keep their army back for long enough for them to, get set up defensively back at home. But fortunately for ForJumy here, ByuL did not take that bait.
Yeah. Like, there are, obviously, like, looking at that game as well, there are a couple of things that ForJumy maybe could have done a little bit better. There's things like, if he hadn't lost that Archon, and maybe recalling them back home, he would have had 2 additional Archons to help fight, as well as a War Prism to micro as well. Bearing in mind that as that fight was happening, the War Prism was left across the map. Like, it was not a part of the engagement at all. Another thing is the Oracle as well. The Oracle was, if you looked at the minimap, it was just chilling outside the natural, and it was just chilling there, right?
Was it?
Yeah. When maybe a couple of stasis wards could have been thrown down, right?
Yeah. Well, a lot of things going on in that game.
Yeah.
As you did mention, ForJumy is at a pretty significant ping disadvantage playing from Germany to Korea.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hard to blame him for little slip-ups like this, but
I'm looking at. Can you see the chat? Can you see the?
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're allowed to.
No.
Yeah.
ForJumy is a little bit frustrated that he's having a lobby bug right now. He's having a lobby bug.
He is, yeah. So we need to restart his client.
Yeah. Yep.
Had an unfortunate typo.
Shaking my head, mate. Shaking my head. But yeah, hopefully he can solve his technical issues and we can dive straight in to game number 2. So just have to wait for him to finish that up, and yeah. I also want to address the chat as well. Can you see this, Yaku? You're the lack of light in your room is really hurting you, mate. It's
well, I didn't want to turn on the light because I wanted to emphasize the fireworks.
Sure. Planned, mate. All plans. Unfortunately, Yaku's green screen also thinks that he is also green, so it's consuming him.
It ain't easy. Being green.
Exactly.
That might be copyrighted.
Oh god. But yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe that's a goal for this year. Actual green screens?
Yeah. Right.
What are you like? Green face paint? What are you saying? Where's your?
I still have some.
Oh god.
But I do not want to put it on at all.
Yeah.
I am still not fully recovered from Halloween.
Yeah.
Or my skin has not fully recovered from Halloween.
You should probably throw it away. Next time, you should probably invest in higher quality face paint that doesn't destroy your skin.
Look, I came up with the idea at the last minute. I need something cheap and fast.
Oh god. Shaking my head, mate. Shaking my head. Yes, here we go. We're just waiting to dive. Hey there, he's here. He's back. Woo! Beautiful.
Client has been restarted. We're getting ready to go.
Oh yeah. Beeps are coming on in. Meanwhile, as we have these beeps, everyone, check out the bracket. Exclamation mark B in the chat. We have quite a number of players here. Despite the fact that this is day 2 of the new year, it's not stopping all of these gamers from showing up, rocking up, and competing.
How many players do you think have as a New Year's resolution play in more weekly tournaments.
I mean, personally,
I
hope Starduck was one of those players, but I didn't see him here, so I mean...
No, I'm pretty sure his new resolution is in his monitor. He did get a new monitor recently.
He did. And you made that same joke on Discord. It was awful. It was...
Exclamation mark Discord in the chat if you want to see that. As we continue our series here on Kaliningrad LE. We're in the top left-hand corner of the map, spotting all the way in the top left-hand corner. We have a red Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. He, of course, is going to be representing Prep Esports. He is the Muta King of South Korea. He is ByuL.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Kaliningrad LE. You can see him in the chat, but he's also here in-game representing Berserker Esports. It is ForJumy. Yeah. Shoutouts to ForJumy. As he was restarting, he popped up just to let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
It is great. Oh, look at that. GLHF and...
The mind games, the 1 minute 20-second GLHF. Oh my god. He's cheesing.
It's like ByuL's like, thank God there are dogs on this map. Otherwise, that cannon
Exactly.
would have popped up on my creep somehow.
Yeah. I was about to say, mate, if someone GLHFs you like 2 minutes into the game, or 1 minute into the game, what goes through your mind? What's the first thing that goes through your mind?
Oh, immediately I'm like, alright, where's the board?
Yo, alright.
It's a Protoss player.
I'm pulling the boys.
Yep. Let's go. I'm pulling SCVs off of my mineral line to check every single proxy location.
Oh god. But of
As
course,
a Zerg player, I just start building everything in my base or in my main.
Yep. Exactly, man. Exactly. It's pretty sus. The GLHF timings. But as we can see, everything is pretty normal. You know, ForJumy did force the unnatural naturals, so making things a little bit more uncomfortable. But speaking of being uncomfortable, this is a pretty small map, and we'll see what a player like ByuL has in store for us. We saw him go for a Queen Roach Bush. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like that again.
Yeah, it's another one of those scenarios, or... Let me rephrase that. Kaliningrad, I think, is an adept. Hello?
I thought they got rid of infested units. What's going on here?
Huh. Just frustrated at the world.
Yeah, adept, please. It's not even a part of the wall. That's what I'm worried about. Like, I mean...
He's got two.
Oh my god! Oh, it's rallied! It's rallied onto the Nexus, the gateway. It's rallied on.
No. I didn't realize that's what. Huh?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that rallying onto a building would cause them to attack it.
Yeah, you can attack
or to
attack
a friendly
rally.
unit anyway.
Yeah, apparently so.
Yeah. Is it gonna like rally to a? You can rally to an enemy's building and it'll automatically attack. I mean, that's parade pushing 101.
Yeah. Wow, we learned something new. I've never done that myself,
All right, then.
And I never will now.
Calling up Fear Dragon for the next episode of 99% Useless Facts.
True! This is when we needed him most. Where was Fear Dragon? God damn it.
It was programming.
He was.
Something.
Oh god. Speaking of though,
anyway,
ForJumy this time he is embracing the Sky Toss.
Yeah, hopefully taking the defense quite a bit more seriously as we are on Kaliningrad. Since I say earlier on, before the Adept captured all of my attention, that Kaliningrad is another one of those maps where I feel like if you force an unnatural position from your Zerg opponent, it's almost like poking the bear, right? You're just telling your Zerg opponent, yeah, I want that creep highway.
Yeah.
Right into my base as quickly as possible. And they are more than willing to reciprocate.
Yeah, it's like, get in me, and they will. It's terrifying. And that's why, you know, ForJumy, he's doing his best to try and slow things down, right? He takes out a creep tumor here and there. I'm trying to slow down that creep, but we all know that eventually it will get across the map. That queen count is getting pretty high. It's getting scarily high. And what is ForJumy's plan at this third base? We have a lot of Void Rays. Sure, we have double Void Ray production. But what do we have to support the Void Rays? Are we going to see those disruptors, or is he going to rely on just static defense?
Well, sometimes static defensive Void Rays can work, but yeah, ForJumy's going to need a lot more than just a single shield battery by that third base. The Robo Bay has been thrown down.
Woo.
Just hoping he can get at least one disruptor out time.
Yeah, he was listening, mate. That's why he was in the chat. He was listening to our cast. He's like, you know what? Disruptors are pretty good. But as you said, hopefully they come out in time, because ByuL, he's done droning. He's at 54 drones. That's a pretty respectable amount. Queens are on the way, roaches are on the way, and the creep spread has been slowed down, but it hasn't been stopped. Like, ByuL, he's ready to go.
He's just gearing up. Still not entirely convinced by the defensive setup by the third base.
Yeah, it makes me nervous, right? Like, only a single shield battery and one cannon as well? Like, oh, God.
Yeah, my breath was held for quite a while there, just imagining these armies playing out against each other. Battery overcharge is popped. Void Rays are trying to get on top of the queens, but the ByuLs will take out the shield batteries, and one of the Void Rays as well. Two of the Void Rays, actually.
Yeah, the ByuLs are pretty good. The third base is forfeit, but of course, that's okay. ForJumy, he can back off and he can try and defend at his natural instead. Unfortunately, what's here at the natural? We have one shield battery on the way, but no static defense is ready. Up.
The disruptors are no! Getting surrounded immediately. No!
The first disruptor goes down. Oh no! Stop it!
Nexus is under attack again. What is this Nexus done for ForJumy?
Leave the Nexus alone, puppy. Leave it alone. Oh God, he tries to wall off with another Nexus, but the Lings get in. They get us around.
Yeah, but the Immortal at least is living up to its name. The anti-air is still standing strong here. That's a very good Purification Nova, but those are some even better ByuLs, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the SimCity is looking okay, but there are just so many queens, so many more queens are rocking up. The ByuLs keep connecting left and right. And again, one of the most powerful things about Protoss are shield batteries and cannons. That's static defense, and it's just not here.
Really is not. And it's just difficult to see anything really at this point stopping the wave of Zerg.
Yeah, exactly. Another Nova goes off. The Disruptor once again falls, and the scary thing is that Lings are getting into the mineral line, and the Void Ray count is just so low. He just can't fight the queens. It's just not happening.
No, it is not. GG's call. ByuL will take that series 2-0. Phone is like blending in the background.
GG, well played. ByuL does take the series, but ForJumy put up a big fight. And again, shout out to ForJumy for going full degen and staying up into the late hours of Europe to play in this tournament.
Yeah, it's definitely great to see more of him, and just great to be able to cast him once again. It's definitely one of the EU Protoss players who he marches to the beat of his own drum for... Some would say for better or for worse. I would say for better, definitely.
Yeah. Makes
him a lot more fun to watch.
He's not completely out there, but again, he does have his own style. And I also want to give a bit of a shout out to ForJumy as well, just because he's also one of those rising stars. There's a decent amount of them in Europe where he's 19. And I think last year was his first big year competing as well.
Yeah, it was his first time making a DreamHack last year.
True.
And he's still getting up there.
Yeah.
And especially shout out to ForJumy because he listens to us. So that's the biggest reason why.
Sure, man. Sure.
I want to support him.
But yes, massive shout out, massive shout out. We wish him the best of luck, and we hope to see more of him throughout the year. Again, I'm sure he hasn't peaked quite yet. There's still plenty more of him to be seen, and maybe we'll even see some more of him here on this channel. Again, European events have been our weak suit as a whole when it comes to covering them, but we'll try our best. We'll try our best.
We'll get a streamer or somebody who can do production from that time zone at some point.
Looking at you, Kure. Oh god, and apparently we already have an opponent for Omega
What?
ByuL.
Really?
Oh my god.